Tonight on Joy News Prime, the Electricity Company of Ghana has announced planned power outages from next month.
We are coming out of a planned schedule whereby, the areas that are going to be affected have been grouped into 4. Group A, B, C, and D.
We will share the timetable with you, but electricity consumers are not convinced ECG will stick to the timetable.
For a very long time, people have been agitating that it's doing so, but government is saying it's not doing so. Finally, they've released timetable. Then it means that they've come to terms with the fact that it is doing so.
2 persons in connection with the murder of a businessman at Kasoa, Opekuma.
Investigations revealed that the deceased on the day of the incident was sending unspecified amount of money in an envelope to meet his business partner.
At Nang Panduri, another set of arrests have been made of 2 persons said to have burned a 64-year-old woman alive. In business, national ID cards are being linked to the public sector payroll as part of efforts to expunge ghost names. We'll be hearing from the Vice President.
That is completed. The problem of ghost workers on government payroll, which has bedeviled our public finance system for many, many years, will become history.
My name is Cesar Lion. Joy News Prime is coming to you live from one of our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV. We're also free to air and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless and impactful journalism. Do stay tuned in. The Electricity Company of Ghana has announced it will embark on planned outages from next month. According to the company's managing director, Jimang Budu, they will soon release a timetable for the outages expected to begin from May 10 until May 17. Well, that timetable has been released and we'll be sharing that with you in a bit. He explains this has become necessary due to ongoing works at the Pokwase bulk supply point. Now, Joy News' Manuel Karanting went along for the tour of the Pokwase bulk supply point where the ACG MD informed journalists about the imminent outages and now reports.
The Pokwase bulk supply point, when completed, will become the 4th in Accra. With a total capacity of 580 megawatts, the substation is expected to serve some 350,000 customers within the Accra North area. Though the project is currently at 95% of completion, the contractors, Elecnor Ghana, have requested brief power cuts for further works on the substation. During a tour of the substation by the Energy Minister, Chief Executive Officer of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Kwame Agyemang-Budu, disclosed that this request has been considered and a timetable is in the offing.
As we have already stated, we are coming out of a planned schedule whereby, the areas that are going to be affected have been grouped into 4. Group A, B, C, and D. And we schedule in such a way that no single customer will see the outage throughout. For the 8 days, you will see probably a 12-hour outage in the daytime. The next 3 days, you will see outage in the nighttime. We will rotate it so that it doesn't affect customer throughout. So that's our plan.
What is necessitating this outage that you mean?
All this outage is due to connecting the Greco line to the national grid so that we can use our part of the control system to supply power to our customers.
Which areas will be affected?
Like I said, in Sawam, Pokwase, Bawe, it's a lot of areas.
When is this start? How soon?
From 10th of May till 17th of May. That's where the outages will occur. But the actual commission will happen on 31st of May. And then 1 week later, ECG will start loading our feeders.
Information Minister Kojo Oponkroma highlighted that government was hopeful that the scheduled works will be completed within the stipulated time.
It's good to hear and to see the engineers explain to us that they are on track and that they will finish this particular project and tie in by the May timeline that they are looking at. But it's also good to understand the broader set of works that are ongoing. That's what's going on here. That's what we did last week in Tema. I think maybe next week or next 2 weeks we'll go to Kasoa, then we'll go to Kumasi to see the full breadth of the upgrade works that are ongoing. Each one has its own different timeline. The hope is that they will be able to complete all of the works by the times that they have set for themselves so that the Ghanaian at home or at work gets the full benefit.
On his part, Gridco boss Jonathan Amwakuba, who was also on the tour, explained that all outages connected to the project are occasioned by necessary demands.
If there is a human intervention, then it means that the automatic devices may not have recognized that there is a fault. That is only when there will be human intervention. These things have been set automatically so that when they see the problem, they have to take, as he said, the machine, which is a transformer or a line off, in order not to damage the equipment. These equipment are very expensive. One transformer costs not less than $2 million. And if it gets damaged, it will take 1 year minimum to go and manufacture and bring a new one.
Meanwhile, Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, who led the inspection, dismissed suggestions that the recent power challenges are caused by lack of funds.
I think that the Gridco chief executive is here, so he will better answer that question. And I'm sure he has given a press conference. If it was financial, why are we here? Somebody says you don't have money, so you can't do the investment. That is the investment. That is the biggest bulk supply point ever in Ghana. Under Kufuor. So what we talk about there is financial. I don't understand.
Well, as all this work goes on, the estimation is that by the end of the year 2021, government will be able to restore reliable power supply into the homes of Ghanaians. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Manuel Cranting.
Right, so as I indicated earlier, the timetable is now out and I'll be sharing that with you presently. So it talks about this being in regard the Pokwasi bulk supply point, which is near completion and sponsored by the Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC under the auspices of the Millennium Development Authority, will require tie-in to Gridco's 330 kV transmission line. This exercise will require complete shutdown of the 330 kV line, thereby affecting power supply reliability to the Malam bulk supply point. In view of this, the Electricity Company of Ghana wishes to inform its cherished customers and the general public that the tie-in works will take 8 days from Monday 10th to Monday 17th May 2021 will affect power supply to some customers in the northeastern parts of Accra. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share with you, first of all, the areas that will go. So be looking out for your area in the group. So find out whether you're in group A, B, C, or D. So now, group A consists in Sakina, Udumang, Odoko, Fisher Town, Awoshi, Odogono, Malam, Abiase, Top Base, Kokompe, Zamrama Line, Banana Inn, Choko, Kolegono, Begbese, Shiabu, Kwashibu, Abekala Pass, Niboy Town, Alaji, So Utu, Mablekuma, New Town, Dansoman Control Market, GBC Staff Quarters, Old Barrier, Upeyukuma, Ashalaja, Lamte Mills. And then you go to Group 2, where you have Lower McCarthy, Malangbawe, Agape Junction, Bubuyashi, Demot, Abosokai, Santa Maria, Botiano, Red Top, New Aplaku, Matahiku, Dansoman, Snake Flats, Glefer, Nyenyano, Kakraba, Iron City, Breku, Tuba. That's for Group B. And then there's also Group C. So Group C, so it also follows Group C, and then we also have Group D. You just need to locate which group your community is in. And now let's come to the schedule itself, which follows shortly. So the schedule indicates that this starts from the 10th of May. So for the day, Group A will be going off. So the following, Group A will be the first group to go off. And they'll be going off from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on 10th May 2021. So 10th May, Group A is going off, and then followed by Group C on 11th May, or before I actually come to 11th May, on the 10th of May, Group A will go off in the morning or during the day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then Group B will go off 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then you come to the 11th, Group C will take their turn, followed by Group D. And then on the 12th, it starts with Group B. Then it comes to Group A. And then on the 13th, it goes to Group D, and then Group C. So it follows all through. And then the Electricity Company of Ghana is also indicating other needed interruptions in power supply to enable contractors complete the different intervention projects will be communicated in due course. Now, what does that mean? It means that this wouldn't be all the power outages. The power outages we're anticipating from 10th May to 17th May would not be all the outages we are to expect. Now, Gridco had earlier warned of imminent power cuts. It says will be informed by requests from contractors working on the Kasoa and Pokwase substations. And the ECGMD makes it clear the impending outages have to do with work on the Pokwase bulk supply point. Now, according to the ECGMD, this will last 8 days, and we have the schedule for the 8 days. But the ECGMD has already indicated consumers will have to endure this until December. So that's why I keep on telling you, this wouldn't be all the outages we are to expect, because there will be some more. And the ECG has actually indicated that we should be expecting some more. Now, we've been speaking with some electricity consumers who are not convinced by the reasons given by ECG for the planned outages. Others also doubt the timetable will be followed. Let's hear them.
I believe that, for a very long time, people have been agitating that it's doing so, but government is saying it's not doing so. Finally, if they've released timetable, then it means that they've come to terms with the fact that it is doing so. And they have to begin doing things that will make us believe in them. Because telling us that, oh, I will off your light at 5, so prepare. If you have a business doing, you know what, if you are a tailor or you are somebody who deals with light, you know what to do before the light goes off. But they're telling us that, oh, it's not doom, so it's a technical problem. So if finally they say they've released a timetable, we thank God. It's a step in the right direction. We only pray that whatever they are doing, they will be quick about it, and then within a short possible time, we'll get our lights back.
When they give the announcement that maybe we are going to off or we are going to give last out, light will not be in for some days, it doesn't go like that. Sometimes the lights will come all right. Sometimes you are unaware, you will not be aware, and then the lights will go off. You will try to ask to find out, to know the reason. You wouldn't be able to know. So that is our problem here. Because when the light goes off and you have some items in the fridge or whatever, because you are not aware to prepare yourself or not to even put the items in the fridge, definitely the items will spoil. That's how it affects the business people too. So that is my point of view. Timetable is good? Well, it's good because when they announce you that today or tomorrow you people should get prepared, there will not be light. That one, you also make your mind and also prepare your items very well. And here's the case, sometimes they'll tell you tomorrow or be aware next week there'll be lights out. There will not be light for you. And all of a sudden, though you agree that you are aware, at the time you'll be expecting the light will not come. You understand me? Sometimes they will say it's because of the problem in ECG, that is why. And meanwhile, it shouldn't be like that. Let us be aware that this is what is happening, so that when we all prepare our mind towards it, it will help all of us and it will not affect the timetable. If only they'll go according to the timetable, we shan't have any problem. If they don't go according to the timetable, that is what will affect the business. I mean, it will affect all of us. You understand me? Look at the lights out they have been given. Sometimes when they give the light off, within some short or seconds, the light will come again. And it affects a lot of things. That is why we are having this fire breakouts and all of those things. You understand? So if only what they have actually decided to do and they will go according to the timetable, we shall have a problem.
Doom so that we are experiencing. It's about them to tell us the truth. This is the problem. But always they give us another this thing. It's not true that they are telling us. You understand? It's doom so because Mahama time is the same thing that we was facing. So it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. So it's doom so that we are experiencing now.
So you don't believe the timetable? You think it's doom so, right?
The timetable at that time, no, they give us the timetable like this one. So what is the difference? My brother, if you are MPP and the truth is there, you have to say it. This time around, you shouldn't follow that thing. Say I'm an MPP, so if the truth is there, I shouldn't tell. No, it's not like that again. You have to speak the truth and be free. Nowadays, money is not there to buy generator and all that kind of thing. You know, it will definitely affect me.
Maybe some of us, the students learning, it can cause a lot of problem because if there's light off, and moreover, some of us we are doing some small businesses. Maybe we use light. Something like cold store and all that. But as the light goes off, there is no way that you can get light to be selling all those things. And maybe you have stocks in there. So if the light went off, maybe those things can destroy. So that one too, it costs.
Oh, me, I'm not happy about what is going on in the Ghana because that means the politicians, they align us. Because when they want the power, they would say anything that they want. Oh, this thing has stopped, but now we are still in that situation. So it means me right now, next 2024, I'm not going to vote because those people we are voting for, they are not doing what our needs, they cannot take care of us because we pay all taxes, but still, we are still in the same condition. So sometimes I don't understand.
Well, joining us on phone right now is Boakye of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Thank you very much, Mr. Boakye, for making time to speak with us. Now, finally, the Electricity Company of Ghana has released the timetable. Not a pleasant thing to have a doom-sort timetable, but at least you'd agree that it helps people plan, would you not?
Yes, I mean, this one was planned. We have known this from last year, that in May, or when the transmission infrastructure is ready in Okwasi and Kasoa, they will need to share some load between 100 and 200 megawatts of power to allow the interconnection of the new infrastructure with the existing infrastructure. So that has been known, and that is why they're informing us around this time. So it is fair for the public to know that you're going to take their life before you do so. So I think it's fine.
But are the justifications, would you agree with the justifications that we're having to do this because we want to switch from one line to the other? Could this have been avoided?
No, I think it could have been avoided. The current infrastructure doesn't allow you to connect a new one without disconnecting the existing one. And that is what we have. So we have to be able to disconnect the existing one we have to turn it off before we can connect to it. But we don't have the relay and then the system that allows you to seamlessly integrate a new one. And I mean, it speaks to the under-investment that we have done over the years. We had a robust transmission system, well connected to allow seamless interconnection. We didn't have to do that, but we don't have that. So we have to shut down and connect before we can reconnect the whole system.
Right, now there have been various reasons that have been assigned as to why we're having to go through this, which has to do with the ongoing works. But the others who don't quite believe that it just has to do with the ongoing works and that there are other reasons. Are you one of those who believes that it's not just the ongoing works and that there are other reasons why we're having to endure these outages?
No, I think those distinctions have been established by us and even by the system operators themselves in their own language. The reality is that you have a failing infrastructure and you have upgrades that could, new infrastructure that could improve the situation. So there are two distinct problems. What we have been experiencing over the period until that timetable comes and when the interconnection actually happens has nothing to do with the upgrades or the infrastructure that is being developed. That is really to do with the existing infrastructure and its inability to supply the needed capacity or power to your home or business. All right, so you have a transmission system that has a limited capacity, so you can't supply the needs of your consumer. But if you're able to connect us to the new infrastructure, which will be able to take bigger loads, that should enable us to reduce the burden on the old infrastructure and allow power to be transmitted much more effectively. So that is essentially what has happened. And the load shedding we are going to have is to allow the new infrastructure to connect to the existing system.
Now, it has been indicated that apart from the May 10th to 17th outages that we're going to have, we're likely to experience some more. But what do you think, and we'll have to bear with this until probably December, what in your estimation needs to be done to avoid a situation where we find ourselves, having to endure another, doomsaw timetable, long term?
No, I don't think you would, experience the kind of things that we had in the 2014-15 thereabout. The power system has its own challenges. Even with Pokwasi and Kasoa in place, we still continue to have some of those challenges until we can fully address them, right? So you have those tech problems here and there, transformers stripping, some localized faults in the distribution system. Those will live with for some time until we can raise the money to be able to address those challenges. But the bigger scale, such as we have currently, where consistently we have bigger areas stripping, you're not going to see them in the areas that we're trying to address. But again, the challenge is beyond Accra, it's beyond Pokwasi Enclave, it's beyond Kasoa Enclave. Across the country, demand is growing. And once demand grows, you need to expand your network, expand your infrastructure to be able to send the needed power to the people. So we're hoping that we'll be able to consistently do the investment. Let's remember that this is an MCC project. MCC is not there to do further investment, right? So if we don't keep up the investment requirement, we can't assure ourselves that we'll be able to get rid of the persistent load shedding and power cuts.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Ben Boache with the Africa Center for Energy Policy. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming away. Do stay tuned in. Cocoa plantations in the Kwabre South district of the Ashanti region are under serious threat from sand winning activities in the area. Communities around Ankasi and Odumachi say the aggressive excavation of their farms threatening sustainable production and livelihoods and are calling for immediate intervention. Now Jima has more.
One excavator sits in the middle of several tracks awaiting turns to be filled with sand. The sand winners operate day and night with the support of some community leaders. The activity happens in the middle of farms. Emmanuel Edu was hinted his farm was being destroyed. He managed to stop the sand winners but lost half an acre of his cocoa farm.
More than half acre, and that's a 1 acre there. Cocoa in Siwa,
they cut down half of the cocoa trees on my land and buried them. It took us a lot of time to be able to notice what has happened.
Another farmer, Kofi Seche, had his palm plantation destroyed last year. He was saddled with debt and his health challenges.
2.5 acres.
My palm plantation was 2.5 acres, and all of it was cut down. No one came to me for permission. Love News observed the sand winning activities pose environmental health hazards to pupils and teachers of Odumachi DA School. Excavated pits are left uncovered, and the school is exposed to excessive noise, affecting teaching and learning. The continuous sand winning threatens the sustainable livelihoods of farmers and affected communities. Some affected farmers want authorities to act as a matter of urgency. Food security here is threatened. Immediately they find a sand on your farm, they cut down the foodstuff and excavate the sand. District Chief Executive for Kwabre South, Christian Edupoku, describes the situation as a security threat. His preliminary check indicates the operators have no permit to wind sand.
If you want to wind the sand, the first step that you should take is to come to the assembly for a permit. But in this case, nothing of that nature was done. The DISEC has invited them. I will get to the bottom of the case and make sure that the appropriate sanctions and remedy is given to the case.
Government has a production target of 900,000 tons of cocoa in 2020-2021 season. Such indiscriminate destruction of cocoa farms, however, threatens attainment of such targets. Nana Awuku-Denchambo's report read to you.
Now, Nanea Jima joins us via Zoom with more on this development. Nanea, you've been to the area. Describe to us the extent of damage done by the sand winning activities.
So this area we are talking about is an agrarian community. Therefore, most of the people there survive on agriculture. So the sand winning activities means most of these households will find it very difficult to feed themselves and also provide for the economic needs of these families. So beyond that, the sand winning activities is also leaving pits in the area, and those winning sand illegally leave these pits uncovered. So it's also posed some threat to the communities. Moreover, they are winning sand close to a primary school, and that is also affecting the studies of the pupils in the schools. So beyond these issues, there is also a water challenge to these communities living in this area. The activity is blocking the water that these communities use for household activities.
Now, Nanea Jima, from your interactions and from the visits, do you get the impression that the authorities are willing or eager to do anything about it at all?
So before we got to the area, according to the DC, he didn't have any information about this. So following our visit, he also took a visit to this area, and the interaction I had with him, he says the district security council will sit on the issue and find immediate solution to it. So we don't know yet if the DISEC has been able to meet and prescribe appropriate solution to the challenge that the people in these areas have. We are yet to get back to him and take his impressions so far.
All right, thank you very much, Nanea Jima. They're bringing us that update. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break to bring you business news. And in business, national ID cards are being linked to the public sector payroll as part of efforts to expunge ghost names. We'll be hearing from the Vice President.
Once that is completed, the problem of ghost workers on government payroll, which has bedeviled our public finance system for many, many years, will become history.
And welcome to Business with me, Charles IH. Ghost names on government's payroll will soon become a thing of the past. This is because the national identification card will be linked to the public sector payroll, and that will make it easier for all public sector workers to be tracked and identified. According to the Vice President, government is building a digital ecosystem in terms of provision of government services that will boost development. He disclosed this at the Virtual Mobile Technology for Development Conference organized by the Ghana Telecommunications Chamber.
We are also linking the national ID card with the database at the Controller and Accountant General's Department. This is where the government payroll is done. So you know that for many years we have been struggling with this problem of ghost workers on government payroll. Now This linkage should be complete in the next few months with the payroll, with the national ID card. And once that is completed, the problem of ghost workers on government payroll, which has bedeviled our public finance system for many, many years, will become history. That problem will no longer exist because every government worker will have a unique set of fingerprints, and ghosts will not have any fingerprints. So this is a major point that we are looking at. Now, so we did the national ID card, and we are linking the national ID card to the major databases. And this is going to solve a lot of problems and make the passport, acquisition of passports, driver's licenses, and so on. These are all going to be linked. Work is going on with the passport office, with the driver's and vehicle licensing authority, and so on.
Now, all SIM cards will be re-registered again this year, according to Communications Minister Esla Osu-Akufo. She also called for an open discussion with the telecoms stakeholders to help address the reduction of government revenue from the industry.
The Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, was just enacted in December last year, and it establishes an authority to protect our critical information infrastructure, regulate cybersecurity activities, provide for interception, legal interception of communications, and develop the cybersecurity ecosystem of our country. We are in the process of operationalizing the Act. We will also be conducting SIM re-registration this year, a process which is long overdue in view of the critical importance SIM-enabled devices have assumed as we increasingly utilize digital financial services. I must commend the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications for complementing the efforts of the National Communications Authority, which is establishing a central equipment identity management system by setting up the fraud control dashboard to help eradicate fraud.
And still staying with the Financial Inclusion Forum organized by the Telecoms Chamber, the Bank of Ghana says it is re-strategizing with the introduction of new policies to contain the impact of COVID-19 on monetary terms of the economy, while exploring new business models to provide and promote financial inclusion. The central bank is also facilitating modernization of indigenous financial services such as Susu with digital tools. Here's more.
While new business models are being explored to promote financial inclusion, the bank is also facilitating modernization of indigenous financial services such as Susu with digital tools. It is for this reason that the bank issued a crowdfunding policy. The policy is expected to encourage clubs, associations, market women, and farmers to work with entities approved and licensed by the Bank of Ghana to provide refined Susu services for our people without the need for much physical contact and with strong controls to guarantee safety of resources of participants. Ladies and gentlemen, though COVID-19 presented its challenges to us as a country and to our economy.
Of course, that's how we end business for this edition. We are back after 8.
You're watching Joy News Prime, time to bring you sports. My name is Hans Mensah, and let's begin with the European Super League, and there's been major happenings in the last 2 hours. Let's check it out. What has been happening? Essentially, 6 of the 12 clubs have withdrawn from the competition. The 6 clubs, namely Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid. Well, the consequence, or as a consequence, Manchester United's executive vice chairman, Ed Woodward, is to resign at the end of 2021. We also understand, unconfirmed though by the club, Juve's chairman, Andrea Agnelli, has also resigned. All of these in the last 2 hours, and it keeps going on. It's still happening, it's still developing. We understand later tonight the 12 clubs are meeting in what is expected to bring finality or closure to this whole business of the European Super League. It's expected that that meeting will signal the end of plans to have that competition. Let's move away from that into boxing, and popular Ghanaian boxer Brahima Kamoko, otherwise known as Bukum Banku, is pleading with the Ghana Boxing Authority to lift the 2-year ban they have slapped on Richard Oblitekomi. The former IBF lightweight champion cannot stage a fight in the country after he made false accusations against the executives in a media interview.
People see me like I'm not respect them.
Yeah.
But I'm not insult them before.
Yeah.
But Richard Kome is go to school more than me.
Yeah.
But he insult the EBA people. In the word, don't judge anybody in this word. You know Richie Kome is a good boxer. He's a former world champion.
Yeah.
It's such a GBA people forgive him. Insulted 2 times. It's too fine.
Yeah.
I say, if a GBA no day, you are not make a boxer. GBA, if a GBA no day, you are not a boxer. He watch you. He's your father. So I beg GBA to respect me as a good boxer, to respect me as a senior boxer in this nation. Forgive these 2 people to leave the boundary. Okay. I beg you. Thank you. I beg the president. I beg all the Ghanaians to talk for me. Thank you, Bugo. Okay. I'm a little namaye.
Richard Latte Harrison.
Richard Latte Harrison. Only boss you know. Rich Comey. Only boss you know. Because if you say GBA bandit these people, what can I chop? So I beg GBA people because forget.
No, I'm true. I'm buying.
I may respect me as a Ghanaian, a good bosser. Wow.
Interesting stuff.
That's it for this installment. We'll bring you more sports later in the bulletin.
All right, it's time for Showbiz. Becky Bex is here. Hello, Bex.
Hello to you, Izzy. How you doing?
I am very well.
Tonto Dike, actress Tonto Dike, okay. Nigerian actress. She has added voice to Akuapem Polo's issue. Mm-hmm. Yes, she's calling on Nigerians to sign a petition that's, going round so that Nana Addo, our president, will pardon Akuapem Polo. So in an Instagram post, Tonto Dike stated that although she may have not posted a picture with her kid like that, she does not believe the social media sensation act deserves a jail sentence. The Nigerian actress explained that she does not see anything wrong with Akuapem Polo, with what Akuapem Polo did, adding that the fact that she would not post such pictures does not mean she believes the actress has to be jailed. The actress, born Rosemont Brown, was on Friday jailed 90 days by an Accra Circuit Court for taking nude pictures with her son and posting them on Instagram page. So that's Tonto Dike, coming in with her voice. Do you think that they will free her?
I'm not sure about it.
Considering what's going on.
I'm not sure. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes.
So let's talk about Bukum Banku. I noticed that the sports people were talking. So on the same platform with Nathaniel Atto, he made a revelation. I don't know whether to call it a revelation or to call it... Well, he says that all celebrities are beggars.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't say that. Let's listen to him. We can conclude ourselves.
But you know that all the popular men, you are a beggar.
I didn't know.
If you are a popular man, you are a beggar.
I didn't know that.
Oh, if you don't know, you don't know. You don't know that Shatawale go people's house, he see big men, but they give him money.
No, but it doesn't mean that Shatawale goes to beg anybody.
That be master. If he meet you, I'm a big man, I'm a popular man. I go some people's house, they give me money. You understand? Yes.
But it doesn't mean you are a beggar. If you go and visit somebody and the person gives you a present,
is a road.
Yeah.
If you are a beggar, but you are in the road.
Okay, but you have been going to beg specifically.
If you teaching me, but if somebody has beggar, that means you are on the road and you begging money.
Well, there's a possibility you can go to someone's house and
because
beg.
I'm a boss. Everybody know me. I'm a crapule. Well, I visit the big mess in the country. Maybe in Kenya, if I don't have money, people like Lord Kumbe. People like Lord Kome, when I call him, he give him money.
Chatawale won't be happy with him. Why does he mention Chatawale's name?
Please, I'm not here. I don't know what he's talking about. So, the iron boy head maker, the Abrantier Amachididi. So, of all the things that, you know, so I thought, after the interview, I thought, okay, I've heard, you know, a lot of things about him, but I never knew that he wanted to quit music at a point, because
I actually read your story. I saw the story and I was like, really?
He said that doing music here in Ghana is very difficult, reason why he had to go all the way to Nigeria. Let me allow him to talk.
See, in fact, there was a time, even I decided I have to stop the music. Then maybe, because it wasn't easy in Ghana doing music those days. Because even the one who was selling my records, my producer, if I want some of the music, because that time we were selling some of our records, and when we are playing, when we are performing concerts those days, you see. But you need to go and beg the producer before you can even be given some of your own composition, your own records to go and sell. Yeah, so it wasn't easy. So I decided to go to Nigeria. In fact, and when I went to Nigeria, I did the first song, To Be a Man Nawa. And it got so good, it attracted even many people in Nigeria. Also, because of the picture, when I'm coming, there was a place called, I was in Onitsha.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. Okay. There was a place called Main Market. So the whole West Africa, that was the biggest market. So in fact, you can walk from here to even inside town, then all is market. So because of the picture, when I'm coming, they say, because you look like somebody whose face is familiar. I say, who? Then you go bring the record. Naim. So the record was so popular, everybody, they bought it, and that's where the life started.
Daniel Amachi did it right there.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that too. Daniel.
Yeah, he's called Daniel.
All right.
And yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Becky Beck, for bringing us Showbiz. Let's check out the stories making headlines on myjoyonline.com. EC releases Doomsoft timetable. Outages to begin May 10. And then we're running into a credibility problem, Kumbo, on unanswered call to NDC's election 2020 collated figures. Also in the bulletin, Kasoa ritual killing, state charges 2 teenage suspects with murder. Right, so you can check out more stories at myjoyonline.com. I'm Ms. Relay. We're taking a break. There's more news on the Joy News channel. Do stay tuned in. Two teenagers alleged to have killed a 10-year-old near Kasoa early this month for money rituals have been remanded into police custody. This was after prosecutors handling the case at the Fancourt District Court asked for more time to determine the actual age of the suspect. The teenagers have been slapped with charges including murder. A spokesperson for the family of the deceased, Samed Akalilu, wants the police to conclude investigations immediately to enable the trial commence.
Obviously, it is pointing to the fact that the case may delay. Of course, we all know that justice delay is an affront to the rule of law. But we trust in the due process, we trust in the police, we trust that they're going to do a good job. But for us as a family, we felt the basic issues of ages would have been rectified by now, and that could have cleared the air and the way. But we still trust in the due process, and we hope that as early as possible all these preliminary issues and that are going to prevent expeditious trial will be kept or will be found or solved, then we can hit the road as early as possible. The family needs justice. We cannot get Ismail Mensah back, but we feel that there should be expeditious trial. The more the case drags, the more a lot of emotions are still involved, resources are expended and all of that. And so we just want to see a finality and a closure of this matter as early as possible. And I think that the family will go asleep. And the rule of law, I'm sure, would have opted for a different option. We are a family of law-believing people, and that is why we have rested our case to the competent security agencies of this country, the state actors that must act like the court. As a family, if you go back to the community, you realize that whilst we are grieving, whilst we are mourning, we have not done anything to indicate that we would want to, if you like, avenge, because we don't believe in taking the law into our own hands as a family.
The case has been adjourned to May 4. Closely related is the insecurity situation in Kasoa and the arrest of 2 persons the police suspect gunned down a businessman at Opekuma. The 45-year-old man was allegedly shot by unknown persons who were on a motorbike. Central Regional Police Commander Habiba Chumesi-Sapong, DCOP, says a series of measures are being rolled out to deal with the crime situation at Kasoa and other neighborhoods. Richard Kwedunyako has more in the following report as part of our focus on insecurity at Kasoa and its environs.
On the 31st of March, the Kasoa Divisional Police Command received reports that a man aged about 45 had been shot by an unidentified male suspect who was a pillion rider on a motorcycle close to the Opekuma traffic light in Kasoa. Police proceeded to the crime scene, found the man and dragged him to the Kasoa Polyclinic where he was pronounced dead. Initial investigation revealed that 2 men on a black Royal motorbike at Opekuma Junction traffic light and a pillion rider on the same bike armed with a shotgun got down from the motorbike, attacked the deceased who was coming from the opposite direction of the road, collected some brown envelopes he was holding and shot him on the chest. Central Regional Police Commander DCOP Habiba Chumesi-Sapong addressed the media on the developments.
The disease was identified later as Mr. Stephen Enchi, a businessman who stays at Obolo Estate at Kasoa. Investigations revealed that the deceased on the day of the incident was sending unspecified amount of money in an envelope to meet his business partner when he was shot and robbed by the suspect at Opekuma Junction traffic light. New development. On 19th April 2021, the Kasoa Divisional Police Command, based upon intelligence, arrested suspect Eric Asare, aka Fanta Moja, at his hideout at Budumbura in connection to the murder robbery of the deceased Stephen H. at Opekuma Junction, Kasoa. Meanwhile, the suspect is yet to be put before court. Body of the deceased was deposited at the police hospital mortuary for preservation, identification, and autopsy.
The police commander also briefed the media on the measures put in place to clamp down criminal activities at Kasoa.
Security measures put in place to curb criminals at Kasoa and Millennium City Division. More personnel have been sent to augment the strength of personnel at the 2 divisions to help with operations, police operations. Vehicular, motorbike, and foot patrols have been intensified. Police, in collaboration with opinion leaders, are negotiating to form more community watch committees. Media education, community engagement are ongoing within the 2 divisions and its environment. More informants have been cultivated to help with information sharing. Very soon, there will be introduction of tent cities to be closer to the public. They will be co-locating within certain environment within Kasoa.
In a separate development, the Kasoa CID, acting on intelligence, arrested and brought to the Kasoa Divisional Headquarters suspect Kofi Apia, also known as Abuaji da Costa, together with 10 bundles of 50 Ghana cedi notes suspected to be fake. The suspect was arrested from his hideout at Estate Junction at Kasoa. A search conducted in his apartment led to the retrieval of the bundles of money. He has since been detained and would be arraigned in court subsequently.
Now, Richard Kojo-Nyarko joins me with a bit more on the story of the two who were arrested for shooting or killing the businessman. Richard, you've been doing some work on the security measures that have been put in place by the police in Kasoa to arrest the insecurity situation in Kasoa. Do you get the sense that these measures are working, or first of all, if the measures are actually visible on the ground?
So easy. First of all, you heard the police command intimating that the Kasoa situation is a bit exaggerated. They make the point that there are adjoining communities that are not precisely Kasoa, and so when incidents like these happen there, they attribute or they label it as Kasoa crimes. They also make the point that even at the toll booth that is very close to Kasoa is not Kasoa, but it is in the greater Accra region. The killing of the 10-year-old boy did not happen in Kasoa. It happened in the South municipality, but they label it a Kasoa crime. Nonetheless, they say that, well, crime is crime, irrespective of where it happened and how it happened. And so they are putting these measures in place, the Millennium City area and then the Kasoa area, to ensure that the criminal activities are handled properly. And so they have put more of their men to Kasoa to augment the police forces that are there to enable them handle the situation that is really, they describe as a fluid situation in Kasoa.
So they talk about putting more men on the ground. Do you see these men on the ground? Is it visible that there are more policemen on the ground?
Well, they just announced it today, so I'm yet to see the more men that the police talk about. So right. From tomorrow, we would get down to the Kasoa area proper to assess what they have said and then the actual situation on the ground. And so we would want to see whether there are more men that have been pushed to Kasoa to enable them handle the crime situation there.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Kojo-Nyarko. The Ghana National Association of Teachers is asking government to urgently release books based on the new curriculum to teachers. According to the association, the delay in releasing the books is affecting academic work because teachers have to fall on materials that are not prescribed. Reverend Dr. Isaac Osu is the Central Region Chairman of the association.
The issue of textbook for the new curriculum at the primary and KG level, we started this implementation 2019 and we are in 2021 now. And as I speak to you, the teachers are only using the manual that was given to them at the training workshop. And so we do not know why up to now the employer is not giving the student and the teachers textbook and the teacher's guide. If you look at accommodation situation for teachers in the country, it's another challenge. You see, promotion and upgrading, another challenge. So, all that we are saying is that we are appealing to the employer and the government of Ghana to come to the aid of the teachers so that we all live in a harmonious workplace or work environment to do our part as teachers to help Mother Ghana.
Police have arrested two suspects, Labik Matthew and Bisom Dudam, for burning a 64-year-old woman alive at Nangpanduri in the Bunkpurugu district of the Northeast region. The outgoing Northeast Region Police Crime Officer, Superintendent Ruben Duga, who confirmed the arrest, that the suspects were arrested at Adieso in the Western North region after they had attacked the woman and her husband with petrol in the Nangpanduri town in January this year. The crime officer said the two have provisionally been charged with attempted murder and causing injury and were expected to be taken to court on Thursday. He spoke to regional correspondent Ilyasu Tanko.
Somewhere 26th of January 2021 at Napanduri, one of the villages in the Bunkpurugu districts in the Northeast region. This young man, he has an uncle who works with the GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority. So the uncle came home and he called him just to advise him to be of good behavior and conduct himself well. He was then working with two others. So apparently he wasn't happy with these kind of pieces of advice the uncle was giving him. So this got him infuriated. He went home and came back with petrol in this ablution can to burn the house of the uncle. So at that time he arrived, the uncle's mom, I mean the 64-year-old woman, one Lila Queer, she was standing at the gate of the door. So she kind of tried to prevent him from carrying out this bad intention of his. Then this young man just poured the petrol on the body of this old lady and lit her.
This young man, after this act, he went into a hideout. He actually ran into neighboring Togo, but we had hint of his movement, so we put a trail on him. We were monitoring him. When he got to know that police were closing up on him, he relocated. So we continued our trail on him and we located him at Western North Region, precisely in Dadieso. And then in collaboration with the Dadieso police, and that is the NG Divisional Command, we were able to apprehend him. We think that this young man's conduct amounted to an attempt to murder. So we are giving him an attempted murder and at the same time causing harm. The others who were kind of acting alongside with him will be held for aiding and abetting him. And so those are the charges we are preparing for now. But we will be forwarding the docket to the law office for advice.
There's one prison is a hotbed for transmission of many diseases like tuberculosis because of congestion. Unfortunately, there's one regional hospital lacks the necessary equipment to provide effective health care to prison inmates. The challenges, together with the lack of space, have had negative consequences on the health of staff as well as the prison inmates. Judith Awuchwetando was at the prison hospital and reports prison officials believe a bigger hospital outside the facility should be considered immediately.
Over 3,000 inmates doing time for various criminal activities and some on remand pending sentence. While some live in guilt of their crimes, others are left to drown in bitterness as they rot in cells for crimes they claim to have no knowledge about. In here, many freedoms are curtailed as required by the law. That aside, inmates are compelled to cram in very limited space. The Nsawam prison was originally built to contain 851 inmates, yet accommodates more than 3 times the number of inmates required. Inmates share very limited air due to congestion and are therefore exposed to many diseases. Just this week, the prison's hospital has recorded 2 positive cases of tuberculosis. DSP Benedict Oseiteria, the medical laboratory scientist of the prison hospital, is not happy about this development.
Just this week we had 2 positives. So it tells you how serious it is. You see, somebody getting we getting a positive in prison has a lot of ramifications on the public. You might not know when the person is even discharging. That's one. And then the person also reinfects a lot of people based on their sleeping conditions. We are sleeping in our own beds, maybe one on a bed, but these people are crowded.
Even with the many cases of tuberculosis being recorded in the prisons, the hospital lacks a gene expect analyzer, which means samples collected from inmates would have to be sent all the way to the government hospital, delaying diagnosis.
This morning I sent 24 samples to the government hospital. That same gene expert analyzer, is having 4 chambers and runs a sample for 2 hours. So that 24 samples divided by the 4 chambers and then 2 hours at a time. You can see that means the 24 samples will be run like by Tuesday or maybe Monday. And then the gene expert analyzer at the hospital is not only serving the prisons, it's also serving the Nsawam municipality. So there's a lot of pressure on the analyzer.
Sadly, inmates are not the only people battling limited space. In fact, the entire prison regional hospital, which serves not only the inmates but also outsiders, has been in need of a bigger space for a while now. The outpatient department of the hospital also doubles as an ambulance center and a consulting room. The hospital's matron, ASP Osei Terrier, explains this is a big challenge to the hospital.
You know, OPD is supposed to be OPD, and you're supposed to have a separate accident and emergency center. And because we also don't have enough office accommodation, we are using the same office as consulting rooms. In fact, 3 consulting rooms here, for that matter, 3 different consulting rooms with 3 PAs performing at the same time. So really, it's a challenge. We need enough space.
The situation at the hospital's ward is not any different.
This is the hospital ward here at the Nsawam prison. Although this ward is well furnished and organized, one of its biggest challenges is that there are just 50 beds servicing over 3,000 inmates. Inmates here are calling on government to come to their aid.
We are too many here, and it disturbs me a lot. We don't have a big hospital to accommodate us. When we are taken to the government hospital, we have to wait for long hours because other patients from outside the prison also use the facility.
Another problem. Officers now,
the hospital is calling on government to help build a bigger hospital outside the prison.
In fact, we need specialists who can render quality health care for people, because the prison is not a condemned environment for them to die. They are supposed to be reformed and rehabilitated. So if we need to reform them, we need to rehabilitate them, the first principal thing is they have to be healthy, because it takes a healthy mind and body to undergo reformation and rehabilitation. So we actually need a prison hospital outside where we can have all these specialists coming into play to make sure we provide an efficient and holistic health care for the inmates.
A prison is a place for character reform, and although some might be serving life sentences, they are still human, have rights, and so deserve good treatment. Judith Awatretando, Joy News.
The National Executive Committee of the governing New Patriotic Party is this week expected to consider a proposal from the party steering committee recommending punishment for individuals with presidential ambition peaking ahead of time. The party has set itself January 2024 to select a presidential candidate for the next election, but already supporters of some flag bearer hopefuls have been publicizing their intentions to contest. General Secretary of the party, John Boedu, tells Joy News these actions are affecting the smooth running of government.
If you start campaigning from now, the obvious thing that will happen is the destruction of government programs and government activities. If we are not mindful of these things, what it means is that for the next 3 years, government activities and president's actions are going to be distracted by these needless water testing. We will go to our National Executive Committee. We want a very strong statement from the National Executive Committee. Beyond even that, sometimes it's very difficult for me to be talking about it looks like that's what you have to do. So I'm putting forward some proposals to the National Steering Committee quickly as a National Executive Committee to fashion out some guidance in order to allow government work to go on. What it means is that to get all and sundry to understand that there's no point in testing waters now, whether by their assigns or themselves or whoever, you understand, that there will be very, very punitive sanctions if one decides to disobey such a measure. President, in his capacity as the President of the Republic of Ghana, has made it clear that anybody that he finds to be distracting his government as a result of his or her ambition, he will not hesitate in getting any of them out of his government so that they can concentrate on their presidential ambition or whatever. So
The NPP General Secretary also describes as unfortunate and uncalled for comments by Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu asking members of the party not to choose another Akan for the flag bearership slot in 2024.
Taken by the majority leader. I think that it's unnecessary, it's uncalled for, and we just have to be guided by our own constitution. But what you must also realize is that it's not just the individuals in question. They may have assigns, they may have people who even support them without their knowledge. If you get these leaders or so-called water testers coming out boldly and strongly, and it allows us the opportunity to be able to deal with these mushroom groupings of people who some of them can be identified as our members, some of them may not be identified as our members. You see, the danger involved is that if we don't put a stop to it now, you may have other people, organizations, or political parties who don't wish as well, trying to also sow seed of discord amongst us.
A leading member of the opposition NDC, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, says leaders of the party must respond to calls by members for details on how many votes its 2020 presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama obtained in last year's polls. Mr. Mahama, who challenged the results of the Supreme Court, did not tell the justices how many votes he actually obtained, as seen from his own coalition. Listening to this interaction between justices of the Supreme Court and Mr. Mahama's star witnesses Johnson Esiedun Ketia on the NDC's coalition.
My Lord, the objective that relates to the presidential elections was that the results as declared were flawed. And the commission itself has accepted that the results were flawed, and that's why they kept changing the figures.
So you admit that you said that the results were flawed?
Yes.
Who, in your view, won the results? The elections?
My Lord,
who?
We are not interested in winning or losing a flawed election.
Very well.
We want the election, we want to be winners of an election that is credible.
Well, some members of the NDC have since demanded that the party releases the data. This has not been done. Member of the NDC Council of Elders, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, says the party risks running into a credibility problem if it does not respond to such calls.
Your national constitution provides for probity and accountability in its preamble. Article 55 requires that every political party in this country must operate along democratic lines, respect in consonance with the constitution and existing laws. When you have this arrangement that has been lifted and put right in the NDC constitution, why can't people ask for accountability? But you see, the question accountability is narrowly interpreted by people to think about finance, profit and loss. That is not it. Political accountability is vertical and horizontal. That you account down to the grassroots and account across.
Accounting for what exactly?
Accounting for your stewardship. And the reason why issues of accountability is being raised, people don't know today what exactly are the collated figures from 2020 elections. I can show you many more. People don't know. You see, this is not the first time that organizational aspects are taking place in the NDC. There was the Obeta Samuel Committee each year. I was a member. We went around this country when we went to opposition in 2000 on reorganization. A report was done. Recommendations were made. I don't know how many of them were implemented. Kam Kwesi Boche's committee, detailed recommendations were made. I don't know how many of them. And holding a party office is one of succession and continuity. People are asking, you are going for another round or a third round of reorganization of the party. Can you tell us what has happened since the Obeta Asamoah's reorganization, the Kwesi Boche's recommendations? How many of them have you implemented? For all you know, it is a failure, possible failure, of implementing those recommendations that you find yourself needing to have another reorganization. This is the context.
Still in the camp of the NDC, the party says it has discovered what it believes is doctoring of election results summary sheets by the Electoral Commission. These are documents for the Techiman South constituency where the party's parliamentary candidate is challenging the election results at the Wenchi High Court. The court had earlier ordered that the EC provides the NDC with original copies of documents used to declare the results. The party has since taken custody and alleges its analysis show altering of documents. Abraham Amaleba is a director of legal at the NDC.
They brought the summary sheets and then also brought the coalition sheet. We realized that on the coalition sheet, Techiman South, the name on that sheet was a different constituency, and they cancelled it and rather wrote Techiman South on it. So that one, we think that we would have to deal with it during cross-examination.
You are saying that it appears they've doctored sheets that is for a different constituency.
That is so. So we intend to cross-examine on that when the case begins. The photocopying was done on our pickup with our photocopier, color photocopier, together with our genset. So I suspect the reason why they were delaying and not going into the registrar's office was they were communicating maybe with the electricity people so that they could put off the lights at a certain point, because the court had given us up to 4:30. And so if it was 4:30, they would have said that, oh, we have come. You were not able to photocopy. Lights are out. It is not our fault. But we had also outsmarted them.
You're welcome to business. A vast majority of SMEs fail to be competitive, and 3 out of 5 SMEs also fail within the first few months of operations, with an estimated 25% to 40% collapsing within the first 5 years of operation. Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in an attempt to change the narrative, has diagnosed the lack of adherence to proper bookkeeping and modern businesses management skills as a major contributor to this harsh statistic. We have more in this report. Speaking at the Bookkeeping Forum, Nanaji Nimboatin, the chairman of the Accra branch of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, challenged businesses to be strategic in these uncertain times of COVID-19.
Strategies that were used or needed to operate businesses in 2018, we don't need that same strategies to operate businesses in 2021. So we need to strategize. So it's important that we know when to say move. And we can only know that or do that if we have planned towards it.
But why do SMEs shy away from bookkeeping practices? Dr. Vera Fiador is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School and CEO of Madiolo Consult.
Everybody shies away from something they don't find that easy to do. So I'm not sure it's that they don't want to keep. Yeah, there are few who don't want to keep anyway because they just don't want to be disclosive. But I think most of it is about the skill set. Once they don't have the skills, they'll just relegate it to the background, and then the consequences can be grave. Yeah. There are small companies out there that could be very helpful to small businesses. If only the small businesses will realize that, okay, these are the people I can also engage. More often, I think they engage outside their league, and that becomes the problem in terms of being able to pay for those services.
Meanwhile, Bernard Jima, Country Director for SG Home of Business, has urged SMEs to explore ready avenues for business growth and resilience.
I want you to know that you cannot run modern business without strategizing around your human resource. The human capital is very key these days. I want them to know that you cannot manage your business without strategizing around your resource. In fact, operation efficiency, innovation, consider competition, what you need to do, and many, many others.
In all, SMEs were oriented on management tools for bookkeeping practices and best ways to remain strategically resilient in COVID-19 times. Now, the Ghana CEO Summit, which is a major gathering of chief executives and captains of industry, will be used to push for a Digital Economy Act this year. The growing pace of digital solutions introduced into the economy, according to the chief executive of the Ghana CEOs Network, makes the act necessary. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of the year's event, Ernest de Graft Ejiri hinted that such law will help facilitate government's digitalization agenda. CEO Summit over the years has influenced many policy measures to the benefit of the business community in Ghana. As this year's edition focuses on the digital economy, captains of industry will expect a sustainable policy drive that will respond to the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Chief Executive of the CEO's Network, Ernest de Graft Ejun, a Digital Economy Act will ensure that all digital interventions are aligned with the vision of the country.
Efforts that must be applauded and encouraged. But you mentioned it from Bank of Ghana, from NCA and all that. So that's not how it's supposed to. You're supposed to have an act that will really steer all these initiatives. Like I said earlier, when there's an act, it's a law. You know, I don't know social media laws in Ghana, I don't know, you know, but you have Cybersecurity Act, you have this, you have that, but we don't have a central Digital Economy Act that will put all this together.
Speaking on interventions by the Bank of Ghana, First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Maxwell Pokuofare, disclosed that the regulator has issued a 3-tier digital merchant account to facilitate acceptance of digital payments between small and medium enterprises and their customers.
To make it easier for businesses to receive and make online payments, some payment service providers licensed by the Bank of Ghana have been permitted to provide merchant acquiring and payment aggregation service for businesses. The solutions are designed and made available to businesses in a manner that does not impose high infrastructure costs and complex connectivity requirements. In furtherance of this, the Bank of Ghana has issued a 3-tier merchant digital account with proportionate onboarding requirements to guide financial service providers in meeting the peculiar needs of small and medium-scale enterprises. This policy change is expected to facilitate acceptance of digital payments by small and medium-sized enterprises so as to provide convenience to their customers and also expand the geographical reach of their businesses.
The theme for the summit, which is slated for May 17, is digital transformation, powering business and government research for a post-pandemic economic resilience. Now, following ECG's resolve to provide a doomsday timetable to the general public on its planned maintenance, we got some reaction from the president of the Hoteliers Association, Edward Akanyamika Jr., who says the power cuts for 1 week is manageable. What they dread is the anticipated increase in utility tariffs.
A planned increase in the utilities for electricity. I don't know about water yet, but that will certainly affect our business because even now we are complaining of the tariffs, and so if it's going to be increased, then we are going to have further challenges because even though business is picking up slowly and gradually, we are still not at that point where we can say that we are out of the woods. We will be able to manage further increase in the cost of our operations. So I am just praying that that planned increment will be thought through very well with regards to the business environment that we find ourselves in. Also, when some taxes have been increased, I mean the NHIL, and then other sanitation levy and all that. Those are all factors that will affect our business. So I do pray and hope that there will be some consideration, especially with those who spend a lot on electricity for their business, like the hotel industry.
At this juncture, let's now bring you a summary of international business news. Update for Business. I'm Charles Aite.
Still watching Joy News Prime Time to bring you the second installment of sports. My name is Hans Mensah Andor, and let's still stay on the European Super League because there's been confirmation for Manchester United that Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward will leave the club at the end of the year 2021. And United, of course, they posted on their website, as you can see there, and the club has today announced that Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward will step down from his role at the end of 2021. Woodward joined United in 2005 and became Executive Vice Chairman in the year 2012. Woodward, of course, has been speaking, quote, attributed to him, "I'm extremely proud to have served United, and it has been an honor to work for the world's greatest football club for the past 16 years. The club is well positioned for the future, and it will be difficult to walk away at the end of the year." And he goes on, of course, to talk about how he treasure working at Manchester United and the investment of more than £1 billion in the squad during his time at the club, and says he's particularly delighted with the progress the players have made under the astute leadership of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his coaching team in the last 2 years. So all of the consequence of what appears to be that failing European Super League agenda, and as it stands, we understand Liverpool have also pulled out of the competition. We are yet to get official confirmation from the club, and much later tonight we understand that the 12 clubs will be meeting in what is expected to bring finality to this particular development. But there's been some word from UEFA President Alexander Seferin and football writer Fabrizio Romano. He's noted for breaking the transfer stories, but he's tweeted words attributed to UEFA President Alexander Seferin in the last 20 minutes or so, and he says that "I am delighted to welcome Manchester City back to the European football family. They have shown great intelligence. City are a real asset for the game, and I am delighted to be working with them for a better future." So it does appear that one by one, the teams are returning into the UEFA fold. Let's move on to other stories. And the Ghana Police Service has decried the limited number of personnel at Ghana Premier League venues in its quest to curb hooliganism. The Ghanaian top flight has recorded a number of violent acts in the last 3 match days. On Sunday, Ibusia Dwarfs head coach Ernest Thompson Korte was assaulted by angry fans of Brecum Chelsea at the Golden City Park. According to the Ghana Police Service, security provided for games is simply not enough. Here is Superintendent Sheila Abeye Bachman, Director of Public Affairs, Ghana Police Service.
With telling our fans and spectators to, by themselves, behave such that they themselves do not become suspects. They themselves do not become the hooligans that we want to prevent. So if everybody does the right thing, there won't even be the cause for incidents to happen for arrest. Yeah. But then, the local organizers, you are into football, so you know the arrangements that go in. So, the strength of the police sometimes to provide the necessary security, the advice may come from the police. But the local organizers may want to negotiate for, say, lesser numbers of police officers, or numbers that are lower than the recommended numbers by the police officers, sometimes because of the resources that they will have to make available for that to happen. And so we should at all times have the open mind of seeking to adhere to the advice, rather than having our numbers ready to negotiate, to limit the kind of security that the police will avail itself to provide at match centers. And where the advice comes that for one or two reasons, because you see, when we're going to provide security, we are not looking at security relative to the match alone. Sometimes there may be prevailing conditions in the community that could trigger incidents happening on the field. Exactly. Yeah.
Let's do some boxing now, and national lightweight champion Michael One Bullet Ansah has called out former IBO lightweight champion Emmanuel Gameboy Tego after stopping Sheriff Quay. And Ansah has been speaking exclusively to Joy Sports that his next target is about against Emmanuel Tego, who is dreaming of winning a world title for Ghana.
Yeah, no, right now, no alcohol, no smoking, no apprentices, no pretty work. Right now, always training, sleep early. Only yogurt and vodka. So right now, if any boss are trying,
so only yogurt and water.
Vodka.
Okay.
So right now, any boss are they lightweight. If you try my One Bullet Ansah, I'll give you accurate because you fall down.
I see.
It's true.
Including Emmanuel, the Game Boy.
Oh, I'm ready for this fight. I got the former Ghana blaster in the Capitano. He told me that no pay, no game. So right now, always training, sleep early, no alcohol, no smoking, no plenty cess, little cess.
At all, listen to me. I beg you, listen to me. Buko Banku Embassy, they talking, they fight. He said he want to fight the person. You don't, you people stand the fight is coming on. The fight, but say you go challenge me. You can here to stand. The fight is coming on. They beating me.
We started it here.
They beating me rough. And they go home. That's they beating me. He say he wants somebody to fight. You to talk to the fight is coming on. He say he want Game Boy. He believe himself.
Because
Game Boy is my brother.
Rich Kome is my boss. He's my father. Okay. He's my teacher.
Okay.
So me no need challenge Rich Kome. Shingenge Game Boy bano. Game Boy ka Rich Kome na be champion. Dear Rich Kome. Shinge Rich Kome Jim boss. Me tell Game Boy. I won't fight with Game Boy. I'm ready for this fight.
Michael One Bullet Ansah. And that's it for sport. There is more at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mainsand. I'll be back later at 10:30 p.m. with more on Fun Zone.
And that'll be it for the bulletin. I'm Ezra Lai. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.